Man, we got a good one today. And I'm going to say this several times, but we have a really good one scheduled for next week as well. Kind of a mini State of the Union, if you will. It's going to be mainly just about all the cool things happening around leads. And Casey, you worded it perfectly earlier today. You said the industry's adversity is our opportunity, and we're going to kind of catch you up on what that's looking like. So be sure to tune in from wherever you are, even if that's Cabo. I swear, every time I open my phone these days, I'm getting a text or a picture from somebody in some awesome place.
I know these Maui or Hawaii pics where everyone's at right now too.
Man.
Donna and Scott just got back from awesome trip in Utah, so everybody's just rubbing it in.
I need a trip. Spivey, you and I could be in Hawaii right now. Casey, you too.
Yep,
we talked about it. But we
I saw some pictures of
some.
I don't know if you saw it yet, but Edward and Tyler Harris did some fishing, caught some monster.
No way.
Fish. Yeah,
really?
It looked awesome.
Massive mahi and
Huge
something
mahi.
else they were
Really?
catching. Yeah,
where y'all seeing that on social media somewhere?
Mm-hmm.
Social media.
Somebody send that to me so I don't have to get on social
Instagram.
media. All right. I think we've got a great video, but we're not going to play it yet. We're going to play it during the transition because we got a good one lined up for today. The Marvelous One himself. I don't know if Marvelous Marlon Faulkner has any special guests with him. Marlon, why don't you unveil real quick, good sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Looks like
yes,
you
sir.
are not in Hawaii or Cabo or Utah. You are in.
I was in Cabo last week. So I just got back. So I'm part of the problem. I'm not part of the solution.
I'm not saying it's a problem. I am not saying it's a problem.
I'm saying it's a problem.
I'm saying I'm jealous of the opportunity is what I'm saying. But I've already made the commitment, man. Next year, there's so many great trips, Marlon. We're going on all of them, man.
Yes.
I want to go on all of them. I'm making up for lost time. I haven't been on a trip since pre-COVID, but by golly, we're going to Banff, Hawaii. We're going to, which is Maui, I think, right? Not Kauai, but it's Maui. We got Banff, Maui, Buenos Aires, some amazing place that Forrester's announced in Mexico. That's a Four Seasons. That's apparently one of the nicest resorts in the country.
Yep.
I think there's an Ireland trip.
Yeah, we're gonna travel next year.
I am going to travel next year.
As long as Pritchett and Tyler are catching Maui or mahi and not marlin, I'm good because I'm really against catching marlin. If anybody's out there catching marlin, don't. We're starting a national campaign. Maui's okay and salmon, but not
you can't
marlin.
catch Maui, but you can catch
Maui.
Mahi. You confused me, Marlon. Really confused. All right, so real quick, I got away from doing this because we're on a real tight schedule these days, but give us a snapshot of what's to come on today's call. Why should they be fired up?
Well, first of all, I thought I was only talking for a few minutes, but I've got enough material that, I can go, brother. So
we're gonna wind you up.
We're just excited about, we're halfway through the year. This is the halfway point. Yesterday, my wife posted a picture of it was Dachshund Day, and she posted a picture of our dumb dachshund. And I was like, why is it Dachshund Day? It's because it's the longest day of the year, was yesterday, and we're halfway through the year, and it's the long dog days of summer. So it was National Dachshund Day, but this is halfway through the year. So I'm going to talk about what's going to take to make it through the year, and then the most important thing, getting the conference. So I'm going to touch on that. And I might have a special guest join me. I text them. We've been playing phone tag, but I've got some material. So,
are you gonna have your wiener dog on for us? Your dog?
No, but I might throw on a mask. I might throw on a medical mask.
I like that.
Might have a mask on. I don't know.
Those masks back in the day, man. If they took it off of you, then you weren't allowed to wrestle anymore, right?
I know.
That's why you got it, because somebody took it off of you. That's why you're in insurance and not wrestling anymore. That's really what happened. All right. I'm going to share my screen. We're going to hit some leaderboards and we're going to come back to you, Marvelous One. All right. Managing Vice President has a good ring to it. Finishing the second half strong. First time riders for the week. Alexander Umbach, 5,942. Umbach, Mao, like that one.
I was thinking Hanson.
Oh, you're singing the Hanson, like back, do shibby bop.
Yep, that one.
I don't know. I think that people are going to like the Oak Ridge Boys more than Hanson.
Yeah, I like the Oak Ridge Boys. That's
That's
Definitely.
like Elvira.
Ooh,
Right.
you're giving me bad memories, Brandon. You remember what they made me be as a freshman at the Halloween party? I had to dress up like the Hanson boys. And for 4 hours straight, I had to walk around the party singing the Bop song nonstop on repeat.
See, who says hazing can't be a good thing? I'm kidding. It's generally bad. Don't go haze anybody. Generally, every once in a while, though, somebody does a good one, and they're like, "Yep,
That's a good one.
got me. That was a good one." Where are we? Top 10 producers for the week. Rocco Pearson, $37,401. Way to go, Rocco. Neanelia, Vital. It's pretty awesome too. Sean Hug, a lot of good people in there. Brett Desario, 17 applications for the week. Way to go. Katerina Pellegrino. I mean, what a great name. Are you kidding me? Here we are talking about vacation, and then this name pops up. Of course we want to go on vacation. That's like the perfect name. Makes me want to go to, I guess that would be Italy somewhere. Way to go. Marcus Dellinger, top DI writer for the week. Top IUL producer for the week. I believe he likes to go by Spencer.
Yep, Spencer Tran.
Right? Make a note of that. $17,811, just edging out Jen Swigert, who, by the way, is a machine. Have you noticed, Spivey? Look at this next one.
Always up there.
$840,000 annuity on top of, what did I just say? $17,000 in IUL premium.
Truly an expert in her field and one hell of a human being. So fun to be around.
So fun to be around. Top DFL writer for the week was Laura Meyer with $18,121. Way to go, Laura. Now we got some interesting mix up on recruits this week. So I'm not going to hit the license numbers because Monday was a holiday. So some people were out, and I think we didn't get those correct. I do think the unlicensed numbers or non-licensed are correct though. Dan and Diana Elmer with 7, Jacob Pug with 29. Way to go. Let's skip this part. Whoop. Whoop. It's not ready yet. I got a text on that, Spivey. Sarah Reineke with 5 new writers in the base. Jacob Pogue with 15 new writers in his direct organization. Way to go, Pogue. Top SNA is a whole bunch of people at 1. And then top directs, several people at 2. Pogue, Faulkner, Mank. Way to go. Alicia Metzen. We got Eccles, Bice Tony, Barberin, Livingston, Bostic, Thomas, Vanderheiden, Spicer, Huff, Lawson, and Mirinda. Way to go, seasoned new agents. Welcome to the game. All right, new leaderboards. Cassandra Mack with the #1 in APV. Sue Hinojos with 5 recruits, making her the #1 key leader. And James Larson with 2 new writers, putting him at #1. Top AO in production was Jamie Susie. Javon Spencer with 7 recruits, and Jamie Susie with 3 new writers, tied with EJ Johnson. Way to go. Top agency director was Sarah Reineke with $106,000. Larry and Ann Griffin with 14 recruits, and Sarah Reineke with 8 new writers. 8. You're a big number for an agency director. Really big number. A lot of big numbers in there. Way to go.
Killing it.
Eileen Balmer, Andrew Jimenez, and Eileen Balmer, 6 new recruits. 6 new writers. Way to go. Managing Vice President Board, Chris Cook, had a good week. He was one of those sending pictures over to us. He's out celebrating in, is he in Cabo? Was he in Cabo?
$121,000 production while he's on the big island in Hawaii.
Oh, he was in Hawaii. That's what it was. Chris Cook with 25 recruits as well. He's got a machine working. 6 new writers. Senior Vice Presidents Kyle and Lisa Kimbrell, also for recruiting with 17. But they got beat by the Mank Tank. 6 new writers. Way to
Happy
go.
birthday this week.
Mank.
Happy birthday, Mank.
Happy birthday, Mank. What do you think would be the perfect gift for Scott Mank as a birthday? What do you get the guy that has it all? What would you? I would like to hear from people in the chat on what is the perfect birthday gift for Scott Mank.
If I were, good question.
Maybe a new briefcase. I might go new briefcase.
I don't know that Scott has to carry a briefcase much anymore, but he did recently move to Florida. If I'm not mistaken, Eileen also had a birthday this week.
Oh,
So possibly rent them a nice pontoon boat, let them go on a cruise out in the bay.
That's a heck of a birthday present.
Huh?
just
Like
rent.
an
Just rent
actual
them.
pontoon boat
Just rent
Yeah.
them. Like that.
or
Just
just a
rent 'em.
rental?
Just
Yeah,
a
just-
rental. Just
Oh,
a
okay.
rental afternoon sunset cruise. You know,
Like it.
Not a bad idea. I think Scott's
maybe
gonna
some
prefer
spirit
that.
liquors pre-made already on
I mean-
on deck.
I know people like experiences, and that's a great one. But how are you gonna get past a good briefcase? Especially if it's one of those like the gold things that pop open when you hit the right.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You can handcuff it to yourself if you're coming through customs with a bunch of cash.
Carrying too much cash. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Miranda Martin, look at that, barely beating out Sean Shannon for the top executive vice president. Sean's got her in recruits and tied for new writers, though. Way to go, guys.
I think Ryan Frederico has the best Mank gift, switchblade comb. That's good.
great. Why didn't I think of that? I used to have one of them when I had hair. Pop that sucker out everywhere,
Good.
too, man. Oh, top associate partner, Lynn Watkins, also 51 recruits and 15 new writers. I see you, Ryan Miller, Ashley and Tyler, Carl Miller, everybody on there, Sean. Edward Pritchett with $939,000 as the top senior partner, top in recruits as well. Man, Pogues, he's gaining on Danny. Gaining on him. Jacob Pogue with 21 new writers, man. Way to go, buddy. That's massive.
Oh.
Marshall Whalen, top overall for the week, though. Nailed it. 90 new riders, 90 new recruits, 36 new riders. Kevin Purdy with a good week as well. Top directs, Jacob Pogue by a good bit, more than doubled up the crowd. Top base shop, Ashley and Tyler Harris with $70,000. Way to go. Oh my goodness, man, we gave out some bonuses. You see these numbers?
Hello.
$988,000 in the equity partner 120 bonus. Marshall Whalen. We're going to see Marshall on Thursday, and I only think it's fair that he has to pick up the check for dinner. I think everybody should agree to that.
Mhm.
Play just a little fraction of that bonus on some chicken wings. Seems reasonable. Edward Pritchett brought me a bottle of tequila, Casey. Did you see this?
Nice. You got
He
there.
came by the office, and I just left, but we'd had dinner the night before. Check this out, little Terramana. I think that's the Rocks tequila.
Oh yeah.
Anybody had this before?
Uh-uh.
Anybody had the Rocks
Crack that
tequila?
open here in a minute.
Better believe it. Is it afternoon? Oh, yep, it's 1:15, man. We can start drinking that right now. Not really though, guys. I'm kidding.
Couple more hours.
We need at least 2 more hours. Great capital bonus years as well. Paul Bine rhymes with fine. That's the way I remember it.
Yeah.
Guys,
$8,000 nearly producer bonus.
The DJ?
The DJ.
That'll spin some records, won't it? Oh man. Bo Hirschfield too. I like the name Bo Hirschfield. Sounds like a center fielder. He's like an up and coming AAA minor league baseball player. Bo Hirschfield. How would you pronounce? I know we go by Lola on a fade.
Yeah.
How
it's
you can
tricky.
do Olawala Milola.
On a fade.
Let's stick with Lola.
Mm.
A lot of bonuses paid out for May, guys. Congratulations if you got in on the action. I don't believe this also counts the slingshot bonuses, which were massive as well, which we need to also maybe start including on this. Could be good.
A lot of bonuses, a lot of commissions being paid out when you factor in that. Those are just bonuses. So when you think about what commissions were also paid out across the board, just guess. Just guess, Brandon.
How much commissions were paid out?
Yep.
I'm gonna go with pretty close to $20 million.
I got my calculator out, but you might not be very far off.
I don't think I am. is you also got to factor in some back ends, some residuals. We're just looking at a total net place number, but come on now. I think it might even be a little more than that.
I bet it might be more than that.
Very good. If you want in more of the action and you're one of the people sitting around saying, I would love to get in on the action, but I'm not getting enough leads, then stop what you're doing and write this down. We have an urgent message. Write this down.
These are areas where we can generate more leads right now.
This is just direct mail and call in on a weekly basis. So if you're like, I would like to get more leads, and you do work virtually or you live in Kentucky, you should turn on a statewide GMR in Kentucky. You should turn on a statewide GMR in Indiana, where Todd is. And you should turn on a statewide GMR in Mississippi. And if you work virtually, you will have no more problems. No more problems. I was doing some research yesterday, Casey, Todd. You guys will love this. Won't use any names, but there are a handful of agents since going on to Switchboard that have increased their call-in lead close ratios to be well above the national average for direct mail close ratios, higher than their own direct mail close ratios. We're going to actually dig into some of this next week on our lead thing. Might need a little script changing, but also utilizing Switchboard is blowing up. Not only that, but bonus leads as well. So we have a third. This is actually going to change coming up, so stay tuned. But for this week, we've got F&G's Josh Pancoast to do the IUL overview, and they're announcing a contest. So if you're an IUL writer, which many of you, if you're not, should be, because with interest rates going up, interest rate heavy products like IULs, annuities, DFL are going to be in very high demand. So we've got some pretty exciting announcements coming up at conference that'll help those that really don't want to mess with it.
Great contest too, guys. This is going to be an opportunity to go to San Diego, and I believe it's up to 20 winners. Everybody, depending on how high you place or finish in the contest, depends on the cost. It can be completely free trip to San Diego, California. So be sure and check in tomorrow for that contest.
San Diego.
I've never been to San Diego.
No?
No, have you? I would like to go. It's one of those trips we've been talking about.
Very, very cool.
I tell you where I did go last week, though.
Yes.
Denver, Colorado.
Why don't you tell us how that was?
Well, let me just say that I've been beating up on myself for not traveling very much, and I would like to apologize because I forgot that I did travel last week. It wasn't really a vacation, but it was kind of a vacation because we went to Denver. We got to see where we're having the conference at the Belco Theater, and we were all blown away at how just, and you've been there, Casey, but how big it is, how really nice it is, and just the conference center in general is huge. It's like an airport in there. We're going to take that sucker over. And we've been working on that for the last couple of weeks, just on agendas and some exciting stuff. Not ready to announce just yet, but there's some really cool things that are going to be happening, both from a speaker standpoint, rollout standpoint, things that are going to be ready to release. Really exciting. So get registered. If you have not gotten registered, I would say, what are you waiting for? And if you say, I can't afford it, I'd say, go take out a loan if you have to. Pay it back, because we're not really big on people going into debt. But, people go to college for years, rack up hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt to get the education that you can get. Some of the education you'll get at conference, it's a piece of it, right? But if you ask every one of our top leaders, would they be here? Would they be as successful if they hadn't gone to the conferences? They would all say no. And I would say to you, you may go and this still may not be for you, but why would you want to take that risk?
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't take that risk. I could scroll back through and look at some of the numbers on the bonuses and say, what if this is for you? What if you could become the next Marshall Whalen or Kevin Purdy or Edward Pritchett? Is it really worth not investing a little bit in yourself to try to give it a go? I would get there. And that's it.
Hey, Brandon.
Hey, Marlon.
You're making me think of something that I think Andrew Jimenez said, that if you don't go to conference, you have a 4% chance of making it here. He did the numbers and he did studies. So I want you to think about that. What if you were on an airplane? We're going to travel. We're going to Maui, and we get on the airplane, and the pilot gets on the loudspeaker and says, This afternoon, we're going to be headed up to Maui. Temperatures look pretty good. You have about a 4% chance of making it. What are you going to look at your wife and say, hey, you want to try it? You want to risk it? Let's get some peanuts? No, you're not going to get on the plane, but people get into business.
On that plane, man.
They want to get into business. And if they don't go to conference, they have 4% chance of making it. And they still make excuses. They still have legitimate reasons why they can't make it. And just like I did, but instead of figuring out a way to overcome it, they subdue to their problems. And one of the things I want to talk about today is if nothing changes, nothing changes.
Yep.
You're exactly right.
Right.
We got to calm you down. If I can start getting you riled up just yet, man, we ain't even
Love
played
that,
the video
dude.
yet.
Well, here's the thing. I do have to
Neil's
say this.
fired up.
I got a call yesterday. I won't say from this person because I really like this individual. They're at the home office. We're really becoming great friends. And they said, hey, you're going to jump on. Spivey needs you to talk for about 10 minutes. I said, great, I can do that. So if someone wants to stay on and give me questions, I have some material.
Oh, we'll be here, baby.
I
Yeah,
started
we're on with you, buddy.
to walk through. I don't know if I'm speaking at conference, but I started to work on my conference speech. So I'm kind of in between speeches. So this is
Love it. We're going to get a little taste.
the only other
like
thing I want to say is, listen, the Oklahoma girls won the national championship, the boys in the national championship. This is not one of those talks. We're not going to talk football, but we are going to talk about baseball and softball. The Sooners are prime. We're going to win it. I love it. That's all I have to say. Enough said.
Create those the Sooner girls ladies are creating a little dynasty over there, I believe, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're legit. I don't expect your fellows to get past any of the 4 SEC West teams that you got there. None of them are Alabama, but we're just glad Tennessee got knocked out. So with that, before we create too many enemies with either the Texas fans or the Tennessee fans or all the Alabama haters, let's just veil, mute, and play a video. Let's get this thing back on track, Marlon.
Let's not rest. Let's not cash out. Let's actually push our chips in. Let's lean into this thing and actually do something that no one else has ever done in our industry.
We're laying out the path. All anybody has to do is just follow it.
Short and sweet. Like it.
That was short and sweet.
Love that concept though. Every time I hear you say that, Casey, pushing our chips all in. Right now, everything going on in the industry has been easy to walk away and follow and do what everybody else is doing, but we chose a different path, pushing all in chips and create our own future.
Yep. That's a big, it's a big thing with us right now. Has been for really since the beginning, but especially in the last few years, when we've look at the industry and see where it is and see what's happening with all the consolidation that's happening, not just in the insurance industry, in a lot of industries. There's a lot of big companies buying up everything else in the industry, and especially in our space. If you're brand new on the calls, you've missed some very historic things, significant things happening in our industry and in our space. Brandon and I have never seen anything like this in 20 years, which is pretty much every competitor that we've had for as long as we've been a company has sold their company to a large conglomerate type company whose whole game is to, buy distribution and kind of roll it all up. So, if you're an agent, you have to kind of ask yourself, or a leader, you have to ask yourself, where am I planting my flag? What's the strategy? Is it to sell companies and cash out founders and owners and CEOs? Or is it to innovate and transform an industry that really needs transforming? And again, if I'm an agent, who's actually making my life better in the future? If I'm a client, who's making my experience easier and better, taking the friction out of actually going through the process of buying life insurance, which that friction is the very thing that keeps a lot of people from buying life insurance. So that's what our strategy is right now, is innovation, transformation. So enjoy the journey. It's, as Brandon and I have said, that, there's a lot of adversity in transformation, but there's also a lot of opportunity and a lot of gold on the other side of that. You just have to kind of figure it out, and lean into it. So good timing. If You're
Had
just
a
jumping
great
on,
conversation.
you're just jumping on the train.
Yeah, I had a great conversation. I've had a lot of great conversations with insurance carrier execs, presidents, chief distribution officers, et cetera, especially since our carrier State of the Union. But I had a really good one yesterday, and I won't necessarily say who it was with, but just continues to reiterate that they're so excited about, the train that Quility is on, and it seems to be the only way to go. And that, within the next 4 to 5 years, there's going to be a lot of, I think, destruction and wake in the industry because people haven't evolved to what's coming, which is why we keep saying we're in the midst of the greatest land grab of all time between, obviously the franchise flagship model, Symmetry, Quility B2B, which is the wholesale model. I would be, if I'm a builder and interested in these things, I would be recruiting like crazy all over the place, going after any competitors that you want, because if it's not a fit for them here, it's a fit for them in B2B. And we're going to be rolling out some stuff with the bird dog bonuses and all of that at conference to kind of keep everybody up to date. But, I think it says a lot that Casey, over the past 18 months, there's no shortage of, probably at this point, 2,500 recruits that have come here, either to Symmetry or to Quility B2B, or we've had a lot of people even come to us to work on the corporate side. So, I think we continue to say it is the largest land grab of all time, and really understanding how to sell, not even sell, how to communicate what Symmetry is versus what other things are. We use the words in terms like competitors, although we don't see that we're really competing with them because our directions and our paths are so different from really where we're trying to go. But understanding the value prop of really who we are and what we have to offer is extremely important. Money is extremely important. Nobody's going to show up here if you can't earn a great living, right? That's part of the puzzle. But man, how do you put a value on time, freedom, the ability to travel all over the place like some of these guys and gals are doing right now? Culture, actually being a part of something that brings you positivity on a day in, day out basis. So many horror stories out there in the industry. And now we're starting to see, a lot of lawsuits pop up, which we don't generally talk a lot about that stuff with going on with people outside of us in the industry. But I think it's important that people do their research and understand, what really makes us different. What really is the value prop that you need to be communicating to people on why they should enter the organization. And you should also be very selective, right, Marlon? Like, we don't want everybody. We don't have to have everybody. We don't sell ourselves out for production. We don't take the wrong type of people that aren't going to be a cultural fit or that have had, challenges, so to speak, in their own personal lives or in, especially legally, things like that. That happens all the time out there. And that's not who we are. But that's, really understanding what makes us different is what I think makes the best recruiters, because recruiting is an attraction. So if you can speak to who we are, what we are, how we do things and what makes us different and how people's lives are different when they join us here, you're going to be able to recruit a whole heck of a lot of people. And I think, Marlon, you're such a testament to that. Everybody loves your story, although there's probably several people on here that haven't heard your story. And, if we take a step back and we look at Marlon Faulkner 7 or 8 years ago, probably 9, 10 years ago, and they see you now without having an opportunity to have known you back then or have heard your story, they see you as this polished guy that can move mountains with your words, bring emotion, make people really want to go out and fight for what they can get. But they didn't see the Marlon Faulkner 10 years ago, and they certainly didn't see all the work that had to go into creating the marvelous Marlon Faulkner that you are today. And I think oftentimes people kind of miss that, right? They look at any of our great leaders as where they are today, and they don't really understand what it takes to get to where you are today. And it's not, the great thing is it's just you getting a little bit better, man, every day, just a little bit better.
Yeah.
Every day. And if I got the stick to itiveness right, if I've got the grit and the determination to get just a little bit better, try not to keep making the same mistakes I've been making. I'm going to keep getting a little bit better at recruiting, at developing, at personal production, obviously, all the things that make me a winner. If I get just a little bit better consistently, man, that is the key, is how do I get better consistently? Every single day, every single week, every single month, I look up one day and my life is in a completely different position than it was 10 years ago.
That's it.
Where were you 10 years ago, Marlon? Give us the 3-minute rundown, man.
Oh man. If you look at me now, I still have a sign around me that says construction at work, because I'm still growing. I'm still learning. I'm still evolving. I'm still reimagining. I'm still reinventing myself. But 10 years ago, what you would have seen was a man who was always looking for answers. And see, the reality is the people that make the most money in life are the people that look for problems, because the bigger the problem that you can solve, the more money you make. For Brandon, I was always looking for answers. I was homeless. I had zero money in my bank account. I didn't have a family that I could talk to on a daily basis. And it was just me. And life gets pretty lonely when it's just you. Life gets pretty lonely when you look in the mirror and you don't like what you see. Life is pretty lonely when you look at what you've created over the last 37 years and you come up with nothing. And that's where I was at. When I walked into the doors, sorry, I'm going to try to stay calm. I know, because I usually build, but when I walked into the doors,
just don't wake up the wiener dog in there. That's what you're worried about. I'll rile it up.
When I walked through the doors at Symmetry Financial Group, I just want to say thank you. You guys are talking about other companies buying up spaces and things that you haven't seen in 20 years, but it's your vision. It's what you did, Casey Watkins. It's what you did, Brandon Nelson. That you talked about having an office in a house, and you had Edward Pritchett to become a Bay Shop mentor, and you just did the work and you believe. See, Albert Einstein said that the only thing better than knowledge is imagination. But you guys had both. You had the knowledge, you had the imagination. So when I came here, I was broke, but I was broken. I was homeless, but I was hopeless. And I was looking for an answer. And really, the only answer that I needed to solve was that I was the answer to my problems, and I needed to find more problems. So that's who I was about 10 years ago when I got here. And thank God, I tell people all the time, my mom used to say, I'm not where I want to be, but thank God I'm not where I used to be. And that is a testament to Brandon Ellison, Casey Watkins, Edward Pritchett, Matt Smith, Nate Alford, and everybody else that helped me along the way, like a Danny Young, like an Ashley Tarr, like a Ryan Miller, like a Linwood Watkins. This is a family to me. So I take things really personal when people don't treat this opportunity right. When I didn't treat it right, I took it personal. And so that's where I was at 10 years ago.
I love that.
Awesome.
I'm not where I want to be, but thank God I'm not where I used to be.
I love that. I think also about, Brandon you just talked about the value proposition in the company. And, Marlon's a great example of someone who saw that and realized that was the kind of end result that you wanted, and I think that's an important thing for new people. There's always a lot of new people on these national calls to kind of really begin with the end in mind and not get sidetracked and look at a Marlon Faulkner and say, we're putting someone up in front of the company that just makes a bunch of money. That's not what this is. Marlon, you just got back from Cabo. Did your paycheck change while you were gone? Right. And so it's yes. Identifying and defining, what wealth means to you, to anyone on the phone listening. And that is, if I stop working, whether it's because I go on a vacation paid for by an insurance company, or because I get in a car accident and I can't work, or because I'm sick with COVID, or because I'm not here anymore, does the money keep going? And if it doesn't, I don't care if you make 500 grand a year selling insurance right now, you're broke. That's our definition of broke. I don't care how much money you make with your pen, you're broke if when you stop, it stops. And you're looking at someone on the screen with Marlon here that has got himself into a position where he is kind of grabbing hold of what we define as wealth, which is a very healthy combination of money and time. Marlon, what is your kind of financial situation? I know we don't like to dig into that, in too much detail, but what did the financial situation look like right now? And, again, it's been 7 years. So,
Man, I get emotional because I'm an emotional person, but I'll just say it this way. I've made more money in the first half of this year than I made in 5 years. In half a year, I made more money I made in 5 years. And there are times, like Brandon said, when I'm on vacation and that money's still coming in.
yeah.
And I'm like, how am I still getting paid? Like Brad Smith and Matt Smith told me a long time ago, when I was broke and homeless, there were a lot of things that weren't in my control. I had to go to work when my boss told me. I had to do different things. You have to do different things, and everything was always out of control, but my income was never out of control. My income was always, if I worked, I got paid. Like Brad Smith said, I would work, get paid. I'd work 2 weeks and get paid. And now it's like I work, get paid. I'm on vacation, getting paid. The dog gets a new collar, get paid. We're getting paid because we're helping people. The way that you do that is I'm always reaching forward and I'm always reaching behind me. I'm always asking Nate Alford, Brad Smith, Edward, how do I get better? But I'm always passing things down to Derek Brock and to Mike Leidecker and to William Brown. I'm always getting from above and giving to below. I'm always getting and giving. It's never about me. See, even halfway through my Symmetry journey, I realized that my life wasn't about me. See, I'm just now starting to understand and really grasp what it means to be alive. To make the most of every opportunity, because I've got a sticker on I show everyone, I've got a sticker that says, honor Matt Smith with your effort. And if I listen to this and every day I look at this, Matt Smith is saying, now is the time. Be alive today. If you're going to do it right, or don't do it at all. And so what I'm getting into now is, how many people's lives can I make feel like I feel? How many people can I was home with my kids the other night and we were watching Nate Bargatze, and I looked around and it was all my kids and my wife and my mother-in-law. That's true wealth. But when I look at my bank account, I check it every day and it just keeps growing. Like, let's go help people. Let's go be the best versions of ourselves, because at the end of the day, someone told me something the other day, Brandon, this is really profound. They said 400 years from now, no one will remember your name, but they still can remember what you did. That's what I'm making. That's what today is about. I can't focus on yesterday. I can't focus on tomorrow. I'm making today great, because what I do today could affect someone's life 400 years from now. But if I'm just worried about driving a new car or building a new house or all the things that don't matter when I die and when I'm gone, that's just about me. I want those things. Don't get it twisted. Do not get it twisted. I want nice things, but I want to help other people get nice things. That's the make of success to me, that other people, you can't have success without a successor. So I'm looking to have successors upon successors upon successors.
Generations, my man.
Yep.
Love it. You reminded me of something that we used to always hear, and Marlon, you're one of the best at this. Casey, we always used to say, people won't remember, half the time won't remember what you do. Most of the time won't remember what you say, but they'll never forget the way you make them feel. And that's a gift of yours, Marlon. Is that something that you focus on continuing to get better at? Is it something that was a learned skill for you? Leaving this positive impact, leaving people feeling better when they leave you than when they showed up, I think is a really special gift of a leader. How can one kind of develop that?
Oh man, I really watched. I talk a lot. I talk a lot, but I'm always watching. And what I began to watch when I first got here, and Edward Pritchett went on vacation with his wife for 30 days and he didn't have to answer the phone, I was watching. I was watching when Jimmy Spildiner got diagnosed with cancer and his income went up. And what that taught me was that these men cared about people. They weren't just talking about insurance. like I talked to Brian Delaney the other day, and we were talking, and I said, someone asked him, what did he tell Jordan Hunt about dialing and phone team? He said, I never talked to Jordan Hunt about phone team. I talked to Jordan Hunt about the impact that he would make, and the dad he would be, and the husband that he would be, and the father he would be, and the person he would be, and the charities he would give to, and the life that he would lead. He would figure out how to figure out phone team. He would figure out how to do sales. He can figure that out. But what I focus on, Brandon, is helping people see who they were created to be. If it's one conversation or 50, who were you created to be? And I try to leave them emotionally. We all have emotion. And the one way that I can leave people better is if I can take that emotion and spike it for a second. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's going to drop a seed in there, Brandon, where they think, maybe I can be better. Maybe I can do more. Maybe if nothing changes, nothing changes. Maybe I need to change something. My job is to leave people different by dealing with their emotion. Here's what I mean by that. Fear and faith are the same thing. They're both emotions, but we give so much credibility to fear. But it's the same kind of emotion as faith is. I just ignore the fear. And I'm always talking about how great people can be. I'm always talking about how good you can have it. I'm always talking about you were created for more. And everybody believes that. Nobody wakes up saying, I want to be the worst version of myself today. Nobody. But if I can help someone see that if a homeless man who was not a good husband, who was not a good father, who can become somebody, who can do something, who can make an impact in this world, then maybe you can too. I'm not special. There's nothing special about Marlon Faulkner. I was just sick and tired of being on welfare. I was sick and tired of going to the refrigerator and counting meals, and there were more kids than meals. I was sick and tired of telling my wife we couldn't go to dinner because I didn't have enough money. I was sick and tired of people going on vacations, and I'm getting on Facebook hoping and dreaming. I was sick and tired of that, and I know if I was sick and tired of that, someone else is too. That's who I'm talking to. That's who I want to reach. I want to reach the person who feels hopeless. And inside everybody, man, I got to go into my conference talk a little bit, but the negative thoughts that you tell yourself are the food that you feed yourself that is killing your success. And everybody has negative thoughts. The negative thoughts that you're telling yourself are the food that you're feeding yourself. They're going to kill your success. And so what I've done is I have negative thoughts, but they last about 2 seconds. And I go right back to a good thought. And the way that I do that is I always remember something good that I did in the past. I always remember a time when someone was proud of me. I always remember a time when I felt like I was alive. And I try to take that and put it into this present moment. So I guess the answer to your question is I just try to be present with people and feel what they're feeling, because we're all human beings having a human experience. And if I'm in front of you or around you long enough, I can feel what you're feeling. And I want to try to elevate that. So
it's good. I think
I don't know if any of that made sense.
It makes perfect sense. You know, I think the tendency, Marlon, for most people, as they're going through what you went through, or they have years of circumstances like you went through, they see themselves as a victim, they act like a victim, and maybe you went through some of that early on. I don't know, but what was it that allowed you to kind of rise above that, to see that, you're not a victim. Where you are doesn't have to determine who you are. What you do, how you think, how you act is what determines who you are, who you will become. Right. So I do think that a lot of times, being a leader, you do find yourselves, especially because we're in an industry that, let's be honest, it's easy in, right? It's easy in, and therefore for a lot of people, it's easy out.
Yes.
Right. And someone that sees themselves as disadvantaged, or someone that sees themselves as being a victim to their previous circumstances, is generally going to be the hardest person to reach and the first person to leave. Mm-hmm. Right. Probably also the easiest person to recruit. Mm-hmm. Because they're looking for the answers. Yes. As you were saying earlier, they're thinking that this is, because it's easy in, it's going to be an easy solution to fix my problems, to change me, right? How did you overcome that personally, if you ever went through that? And then how do you deal with that with people in your organization now? Because you're probably like me. There's nothing more frustrating than a victim, because a lot of times they just won't get out of their own way, and they're just constantly making excuses for reasons that they're not succeeding. How did you deal with that? And then how do you continue to deal with that with people that are in your organization?
It's a great question. I wrote down this quote, Brandon. I would write this down. It says, the strength that I gained from my failures made me strong enough to stand up to my success. The way that I did that is I saw failure as success. So all the things that happened to me in my past, that my dad was an alcoholic, that I was molested, that I was never taken for granted, that senior night, I had to walk down senior night. It's the greatest night for most athletes in their sport. I didn't have parents there. So I felt like a failure. I felt like I wasn't enough, but what are we going to do? We're just going to compare who's got the worst story and who's had it the worst. See, no one saw Casey Watkins 399 no's before he got ES. No one saw Brandon Ellison struggling in that house when you guys left a company and you guys were scared to death and you're in a house and you're saying, we're going to start a company. No one saw the fear there. No one saw the failures you went through. All they see is the good stuff. So what I understand now is what I try to teach my agents and what I try to teach myself is fail long enough to have success. Nobody likes watching a game where a team walks in and they just walk over the other team. They like to see some back and forth. They like to see some failures, some fouls, some turnovers. No one wants to watch a game when the score is 100-0. That's boring. But we all want a life that we walk in and just score 100 points and we win. The best games are the ones where it's back and forth and your team is down and it's the fourth quarter and you got no more timeouts and your star quarterback's out and you got to step in and you got to play and you're thinking, are they going to win or are they going to lose? This is exciting. So what I try to teach people is the strength that I got from failure is the only way that I can able to stand on my success. The only way that you can win is to lose. Winning doesn't feel like winning unless you've lost. Winning never feels like winning unless you lose. See, eating a steak to me, to some people, just eating a steak. I didn't have a steak till I was 25 years old. Wow. I still, and I eat a lot of nice steaks. Thanks to you, Brandon and Kay, I eat a lot of nice steaks. But listen, I still take my time with it because I remember what it was like. See, the problem with people that are victims is they're only remembering one side of the equation. Well, this happened to me, this happened to me, this happened to me. But what I started thinking, Brandon, was I'm still alive. I'm still above ground. I'm not below ground. I still have an opportunity to help somebody. If I impact one person in my life was worth living. I still have an opportunity to do better. I still have an opportunity to be a better husband. I still have an opportunity to be a better father. I still have an opportunity to be a better agent. How do you do that? Because I remember when I was a failure and nobody believed in me. I remember when nobody wanted to talk to me. Nobody called me up. I wasn't on anyone's call list. Nate Alford called me and he didn't know. So I remember the failures, and that makes the success that much sweeter. And if you don't understand that, you might need to think about it. See, the problem is grapes are a wonderful fruit, but everyone, if you drink wine, you have to understand that it takes years and years and years. You can't just have grapes sprout in a season. Winter always follows fall. There's a season to everything. There's a process. One of the things I wanted to talk about, I don't know if you had another question, but I had 4 P's. People, being present, process, and I won't tell you the last one, but the process is this: there's a process to everything. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Sometimes you win, there's a process to everything. Here's our process at Symmetry. We write business. We recruit other people to write business. We go to conference and we get other people to conference. That's the process. Here's the problem. Some people stop too soon, Casey. They write business and they think that's great because they're putting money in their bank account. That's not the process that Symmetry put in place. That's not what you and Brandon had in mind. Some people recruit. They don't write business. That's part of the process. The full process is we write business, we recruit agents to write business, we go to conference and we get agents to conference. Here's why: because at the end of every process is a promise. At the end of every process is a promise. And see, what I used to think, Brandon, was promises were given, they're not, they're earned. Here's the promise. When I get to conference, I get to see people having success, that if I do what they do, I can win. That's it. The process was, if I go to conference and I see Edward Pritchett on stage, I might not have been there when he was failing, but I see him succeeding. If I know he failed and he's winning, if I'm a failure, I can win too. That's the whole process. But the promise is, if you do what these people did, you can win too. And the problem is, most of the people that come into Symmetry that quit and fail, they don't complete the process. They only do half of the process, and they think they've completed it. In my life, Brandon Ellison, I always knew, my life here at Symmetry, I always knew that getting people to conference was the promise that it could be bigger and better if I got more people there. That's the promise at the end of the process.
Yep. And that promise is there because when you get people to a conference, it's not for you, it's that you know what they're going to go through.
100%.
Right. And so often people, they take this weird risk and say, I would like to be the exception. Why would you like to be the exception in a negative way? Why would you like to say, I don't need all of that rah-rah? So if you're the type of person that says, I don't need all the rah-rah, you are the person that needs it more than anyone.
100%.
100%. We all need it. Right. I saw the best quote, or it was a speech I was watching the other day. And someone asked this lady, and I can't remember her name, they said, what do you do to stay motivated? And she said, well, there's a lot of things that I can do to stay motivated, because clearly being motivated is what will lead you, right, to taking the steps to become successful. Yeah. And she named all these things off that she does to stay motivated, all the things that we talk about, right? But then she said, but staying motivated is not the key to success. No, doing the things consistently, even when you're not motivated to, is the key to success. That's what successful people do that others don't. There's this illusion that you can always stay fired up,
yes,
motivated, because people see us generally when we're trying to be at our best. If it's social media, or if it's a speech that you're giving, or you're on a podcast, or you're doing all these things, as people hear you and they say, God, I wish I had the energy that Marlon Faulkner has. I wish I had the ability to stay engaged and stay motivated. Missing it. Those things are important, but they're not nearly as important as commitment. Because when you're fired up, man, when you're committed to what it is that you want to become, too many people focus on the things that they want, not the things that they need to do to become the person that gets the things that they want.
Yeah.
When you understand that very clearly, we call it the why, right? Then you do those things even when you don't feel like doing them. And I think that's one of the most important aspects or characteristics that successful people have that others don't. Someone may get unmotivated, demotivated, and just want to go lay around and look at social media.
Yeah.
Right. The person that is clarity in where they're going, they want to get right back on the phone. They want to get right back into doing the activities that are going to pull them out of it, because they know that's what's going to lead to success. You do those things consistently, even when you don't want to. And I would even say, especially when you don't want to. It's the same with working out, right, Marlon? Like, man, there are days when, God, it sure would be good to have to do that crap, wouldn't it? I don't want to go do that. But 5 minutes in, you're like, man, let's do it. I feel good now. Maybe 10 minutes in, I feel good. Let's do it. Maybe 30 minutes in, you're still like, well, this still sucks today. But you know what? You are getting it done.
That's right.
Right. Even though you didn't feel like it, you're still getting it done. It's called discipline.
Yes.
Right.
I started 75 hard 2 days ago because I don't want to be pudgy in Costa Rica. And so I started, and that's exactly what you're talking about. I didn't feel like walking. I walked last night at 10 o'clock at night because I got home late. I walked at 6 o'clock this morning. I'm drinking my gallon of water. But what you're saying is I really believe, and you said it, it's the clarity. The reason people get unmotivated and don't get back in the game is because they don't have a vision for what their life really looks like. I got on the thing with Justin Finney, and me and Brad Smith have been talking about vision. I got on with Justin. I wake up every day now. I know where I'm going. Listen, I was in Symmetry Financial Group as a 120 and I didn't have vision. I can do this business with my eyes closed, but if I don't have a vision, can I really help other people? get what they want. See, my vision leads me. My vision gives me clarity. My vision gives me focus. My vision gives me motivation, not the money in the bank. There are billionaires who went bankrupt 2 or 3 times. They had a vision for what they wanted. See, my vision helps me understand that it's never about right now. It's always about later. Listen, what if my vision is that I come and I do all this wealth, and I'm looking at starting to create homeless shelters. We're in the process of starting to create a homeless shelter. What if all that's so that when I die, my son or my daughter have this major conglomerate, and they've got homeless shelters all over the world? What if it's not about me? What if I'm just setting the stage? What if I'm just introducing greatness? Martin Luther King's father, not many people know about. He had to do something to give his son vision to be the man that he was. What's the vision that you have? Like Brian Delaney said, if it's just about money, someday you're going to have all you want of it, and it's not going to be enough to get you out of bed. What is your vision? My vision is to change the world one person at a time. See, I know what my vision is. So when I'm mad at somebody or an agent does something that's frustrating, I go to them in love, and I talk with them abruptly, but I talk to them about what their vision is. And so what you were talking about, Brandon, is vision. What is your vision? My vision is to make conference full. My vision is that I got to get to work. My vision is at one point I had 100 agents personally direct in my base shop at conference. Why can't I get back there? Why can't I teach other people to do that? That's my vision. Everything that I do is moving me towards that. If you don't stay motivated, if you can't keep going, maybe it's not that you're not good enough, because that's what I used to think. Maybe it's that you just don't have the right vision for your life that goes with your gifting that'll help you get there. Because I never spoke on a stage before Symmetry. I never took a speaking class. It was always in my vision. I wanted to impact people, and I wanted to change people's moods. So I don't know, I'm rambling now, but I'm fired up.
Well, I think that's
So good.
the perfect reason why people need to come to conference is, people always say, well, what am I going to get from there? Maybe I'll get some training. Maybe I'll learn how to write an IUL. Maybe I'll learn how to recruit somebody. Maybe I'll learn how to do this, that, or any number of things that bring me success. Generally, what happens to successful people is they get there and their vision is changed.
That's good.
They're growing. They're grown. When you got to your first conference, Marlon, you sat in the back and you said, what do I need to do to sit up there?
Yes.
You didn't say, it was so simple at that first conference for you. It's like, yeah, the money's going to be great, but I want to be up there, man. I want to be up there with the successful people. What do I have to do to get that? Other people may come to conference and they may say something like that. I can't tell you how many people have come up to us and said, you're going to see me on that stage.
Yes.
And when I do, they remind me, and I love it.
Yes.
When I don't, they don't remind me. Remember that time I told you was going to see me up there? I don't know what happened, man. You're still going to see me up there one day, right? Who knows what your vision is going to be? You talking about the homeless shelters, Jacob Pogue talking about filling up transfer trucks full of toys at Christmas to give away. Brian Delaney talking about the charities he's got going on with delivering water to countries really in need. I can go on and on and on, because people have a vision outside of money. They have a vision of who they need to become. And then they have clarity in what they need to do to become that person. That's why we want to get people to conference.
Yes.
Yes, you will learn things that will help you make money in the immediate future, that will help you continue with your business. But really what we want you to do is create a vision, man, and to grow that vision, because when you have that, that's when you develop grit. That's when you do things when you don't want to do them.
Yes.
That's when you do them consistently.
Yes.
Right. Because you have clarity and vision.
Yes.
And I think that's the most important thing that people can get, man. So Marlon, thank you so much, buddy. Close us down. If you got anything else to say, there's somebody out there that needs to hear you give them one good reason. And we know we give them a lot, but getting to conference, we're less than 60 days away. We're right there. Get your flights now, get your hotels now. Don't wait to the last minute. Right. But anything you want to say in closing, man, I just appreciate you being on today. I got a lot out of it personally, for sure.
Absolutely, man. I'm grateful for you, what you've done, not just in this business, but looking at your families and the life that you're leading, and Todd Spivey's away from his family right now, growing this business. That means something to me. Brandon Ellison, from a person who's failed all his life, who felt like a failure, the reason you go to conference is because all I needed was a promise. How many companies are out there where people don't know what to do to get to the top of the company? They don't know what to do to win. They don't know what to do to be successful. All I needed was a promise. I wanted to be back home with my kids. I wanted to be a better husband. I wanted to be a better father. All I needed was a promise. I wanted to lead a great team. I didn't know how. I wanted to make an impact in my community. All I needed was a promise. Get the conference and get your promise, because life is short. Life is short. We got to go now. There are families that need our help now. There are agents that need to work with us now. There are people that need to move now. I challenge you. Go get your promise. And you come up to me at conference and you tell me you got your promise, and I'll celebrate with you, because I know what it's like to feel like nothing. Walking in the conference and walking out, knowing that you get to go determine the rest of your life and make it the best of your life. So thank you guys very much for having me on. I'm eternally grateful for you. I couldn't spend a million lifetimes telling you how much you mean to me. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Symmetry Nation, let's fill it up. Let's make conference full. Love you guys.
Love you, Marlon Faulkner.
Love you, Marlon.
Marvelous one,
Awesome
man.
stuff, buddy.
Appreciate you, buddy. I'm fired up, man. I'm fixing to go get it.
Let's do it.
Do it.
Thanks,
Bye,
guys. Have a good
everybody.
week. See you next
See
week.
y'all.